it's Jane here. It's the end of September, which means we have passed the autumnal equinox, which means it is now the time that I know you have all been waiting for, which is the results of the Transatlantic Melon Challenge. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go and take a look at one of the videos I put a link to around here somewhere. I'm just going to be discussing the UK results today because Jim, Team Jim USA, is going to be discussing their results on his channel. So I'm going to take you through how the challenge has gone this year and what I've learned, if I've learned anything, and ultimately who's won the UK crown. So come on, let's go and have a sit down. Rocky is already sitting down. Right, I like to think that I've left this image for you here to prove a bit of a point, which is do harvest your melons before they actually fall off the vine. I've had quite a few things on the last couple of weeks, which means, oh, hold on, I'm working my way through the tomatoes, which means that I just have not got up here. This is why it should have been filmed sooner, but you can see not only has that melon come off the vine, let me just see if you can see. Yeah, not only has it come off the vine, but something has started to eat in it. So oh, there we go, that's probably it. Our friend the slug. Off you pop, little fella. And come back later. Oh, there's another one. That's a woodlouse. Okay, well, it's nice to think that we share and share alike. So anyway, I'm actually quite happy with these melons. Although, oh my goodness, hold on. I was going to say there's only two. If we look back here on the trailing one, I don't know if you can see that one. There we are. That's another one. I can't see a thing back here. It's just lots of leaves. There we are. That's another one there. Clearly that's not going to ripen now. But that's 3 off 2 plants. And if I go and take you and show you the other plant, you can see amongst all the detritus, there's one down there. Now that looks like it's fell off the vine as well, but I am counting it. So I am counting. Even though they might not be the best ever melons, I've got 4 melons off 4 plants. Okay, so that's my Minnesota midget entry. Here's the other. Now, at the moment, it looks like it hasn't been eaten, but I haven't lifted it up yet, so I might be in with a chance of cutting into that one and having a nibble. So it's funny how these aren't falling off. I mean, that plant is so dead. But yeah, don't think I'll bother weighing it, but it is a watermelon. So that is 2 watermelons off 4 plants. Right, let's go and cut them open and see what we've got. Right then, here we go. The moment of truth. Look at this. Months in the making. 6 melons. I mean, really. Is that a melon? It's only a midget melon. I'm counting it. I'm counting it. I need every melon I have. So yeah, that one I'm not going to bother cutting into that one. Oh, go on, you know, I will cut into it. I might find some awful things inside. Oh. Okay, I'm going to do the smell test. Oh, that does just smell quite incredible, you know. Okay, I'm going to put that there. Probably attract all the wasps now. Now, yes. These ones have started to be eaten. Which one shall I go for? Which of these melons? A little bit of mud on, but as a gardener, I'm not worried about a little bit of soil or a few little creepy crawlies. I'm saying that, I might jump out my skin in a minute, but let's try. I'm going to sniff them. That smells good. That is one of the ways, apparently, you can tell if they're ripe or not. That has got a tiny hole in, but I think, again, as we all know, a tiny hole on the outside, it means the creature's got in. Right, okay, so cut that bit off. Let's cut it down the middle. Oh, there's a big hole there. Darn it. Okay, we'll cut it down the middle anyway. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I've got to say, which side's the hole in? I'm going to put that, yeah, I'll put that to one side over there. Just, How juicy is that? And once it's open, oh my goodness. Right, let's have a little taste. Right, okay, so here we are. I've got all my seeds here, and I am going to continue to, you know, very often we say things like, oh, it was so good, it almost tasted shop bought. It doesn't really add up when you go for tomatoes, does it? Because we all know a homegrown tomato is way better than a shop bought one. But a melon, I can't say it's just come exactly off the vine because it dropped off on it of its own accord. Just gave up, didn't it? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm really cross now that I didn't come up and collect them sooner because, oh my goodness, they're not going to last long. This will be eaten before I leave the allotment, I can tell you. Right, okay. So Minnesota midget. Not a great harvest of them, but harvest it is, and deliciously sweet they are. I think looking back to the video we did last year on our tiny harvest, they were nowhere near that size. They were more like that sort of size, So whatever it is we've done this year, which I'll go over in a minute, it has produced a bigger melon. So let's have a look at the sugar babies. Is this the one? Oh, this one's got, cleaning it like an apple, this one's got no blemishes at all. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like. That one. Okay, so I need something to put these in. I'll keep them on different sides. Right, okay. This is the first time my sugar melons come to anything, I think. I don't think we had one last year. Oh, look at that! Look at it! Look! Even the sun's come out to shine on it. Can you see that? How beautiful! And of course you can tell the difference with the seeds because these are brown seeds. Right, okay. Give it the smell test. Doesn't smell as sweet. Oh, it might taste of nothing. I know that's happened to a few people. Let's have a go. Let's have a go, Joe. Okay, let's see what I'm doing. All I'm doing is chopping a bit off, de-seeding it rather than spitting them out on camera, which nobody ever likes. Yes, some people probably do. Right, okay. Okay. It tastes of watermelon, but saying that, there's no sweetness to it as such. It just tastes of water. It's what I'd call a passable melon. Okay, so much as that looked the healthier, oh, there's hair on that now. Much as that looked like a healthier, happier melon, you could see these ones were still attached to the vine, but they weren't going to do anything else. But they're a melon nonetheless, and they are something I will save the seeds from for next year. So, how did I do them? Like everybody else, I put the seeds in round about the spring equinox. I'll put a link somewhere to the original sowing, and started them off on some kitchen paper. So pre-sprouted them, if you like. There is a term for it, I can't remember. Shout it at the screen, it might come through. And so I did them like that. I did enough for friends and neighbours, so I gave quite a lot away. And then, like everybody, at some point I had a disaster by putting them on our very, very narrow windowsill in the living room, and of course Rocky just knocked them off. So that was about half of them gone. And the ones that were left, I brought them on at home mainly until they were big enough to come into the greenhouse and be potted up into their own 3-inch pots. And then what I did was I planted up my 2 arches that I've got in the polytunnel, one at each end. I planted one either side of each arch and one on the ground, trailing alongside each arch. The soil I put them in, we'd added... Oops, there we go. I'm going to be covered. I'll be covered in wasps any minute now. The soil had been enriched with compost from our bokashi bin, so I was really quite confident that it was a really, really good rich soil. But I've got to be honest, having seen how other people have done, I know there is something else we need to do. We are leaps and bounds ahead of where we were last year. But I think the issue we have in our polytunnel is that whereas it gets watered regularly in the summer, it dries out completely in the winter. So by the time spring comes around, even though we might give it a really, really good soak before planting our spring and summer crops, it's been left so dry over the winter, and I think it's lost a bit of its quality because of that. So we're talking about this year doing some sort of irrigation system in there. We talk about it every year, so that even over the winter we're managing to keep a certain level of moisture in the soil, because I do think it makes such a difference. Saying that, I was talking to Danny over at the Grapevine allotment the other day, and he grew his, whereas we grew 4 of ours in halos, which you can keep topped up with water, so they've got a continual water supply. He used a quad grow, and he said his didn't seem to come to anything, and he felt like he'd overwatered them. Now the same for me with the halos. They weren't short of saying that the soil was short of water over the winter. They weren't short of water for each plant during the summer. And I'm wondering if there is such a thing as overwatering your melons. Let me know if you've done that, or let me know if you have an idea about that, because yeah, I think the ones that I've seen growing best are ones that have just been planted straight into the ground. Okay, so they haven't got that constant drip, and it might affect the flavour as well. Does too much watering make it weaker, the flavour weaker? I don't know. It's interesting though that the 2 of us who've used like one of these watering systems, you know, we've just not been too impressed with the melon. Sorry, just give me a second. It's warmed up a bit. I did start to nip out the side shoots from one of the sugar babies. In fact, no, I didn't nip out the side shoots. I nipped out the top shoot to allow, the idea is you allow 4 arms. I'm being serenaded, I don't know if you can hear that. That's beautiful. To allow 4 arms, branches, whatever, to flail around like this, and you will concentrate the flowers on those 4 things. Didn't seem to make a heap of the difference, but what did make a difference, which was actually hand pollinating the flowers. So if you can tell which are the male and which are the female flowers, the female flowers are the ones that have, let's see if I can give an example. No, of course I can't. They're the flowers where you've got the flower, and then just behind the flower you have a small fruit. That is the fruit that becomes the melon. The male flowers do not have that small fruit, so it's literally, it all seems a bit sordid in some ways, but you literally pull off the male flower, pollinate the female flower, say how do you do, and off you go. And I think that is why we've got not many, but a decent size melon this year. So I would recommend that you pollinate them, recommend they go into really rich soil, recommend that you cover them if you're going to have a cold snap. Don't overwater them. And as far as the side shooting goes, do let me know. Do you side shoot yours? Do you not side shoot yours? It would be interesting to know. I think again I'll do it again the same next year, where I'll do half, or I'll tip half of them and not the others, and just see if it makes more of a difference. But certainly I'll be doing it again next year. I might actually change up the melons that I use. A few people have shown some beautiful melons that have been grown over here in the UK. I know Emir has been mentioned a lot. That's really, really suitable for our climate. And Jasmin put up a beautiful picture of her Kajari melon, which just looks fantastic. So I might try and see if I can get some seeds for Kajari. And that's the thing. 2 years ago, when I'd never grown a melon before, it's like tomatoes. You think there's one or two, a honeydew and a watermelon and a cantaloupe, you know, but you don't realise the variety and the variety of tastes, etc. And now you're getting more into it. It's nice to be able to start looking further afield and trying different things. So I'll certainly be trying something a little bit different next year. But who's the UK winner? Who do you think? If you've been following along on the Facebook group, and I know a lot of you are on Facebook, and that's fine, but we have had a thread called the Transatlantic Melon Challenge, also on Instagram, but not as many pictures on Instagram. And it's been lovely to see how the plants have progressed over the last few months. And you might have recognised one person in particular has put up several pictures of several melons that she's grown, and to date she has grown 17 Minnesota midget melons on her 3 Minnesota midget plants, which makes her the UK Minnesota Midget Melon Challenge winner 2022, and that's Annette Hurt from over on my patch of Norfolk. So well done, Annette, you've done brilliantly. Closely followed, I've got to say, by Liz Hodge, who managed to get 7 beautiful size melons off her plants, off her Minnesota midget. So well done you. I had 4 plants, you know, and I'm actually counting that one as a melon out of desperation. So I think whatever you've done, if you want to share it with us, put it in the comments below and we can all learn from it, because you've done fantastically well. And as for the sugar baby watermelon, well, as I say, after seeing the one I saw on Facebook, I'm not even going to bother weighing mine, because the UK Sugar Baby Watermelon Challenge winner, with a sugar baby of, what is it, £2 9 ounces? Forgive me if I'm wrong, I've left all my notes at home, is Roo from over at Roo's Life. So I know she had 2, and that was the bigger of the 2. So well done, Roo. You've grown a sugar baby watermelon, and let's just hope it tastes a bit nicer than mine. I'm sure it does. But yeah, well done, and well done to all of you who've taken part. Like I say, I know Jim is going to put the US results up on his channel, and we'll get together in the end and see who's the overall winner. But yeah, it's been fun. It's good to have a challenge. It's good to try something you haven't done before, and it's good that we can all learn from each other. So yeah, thanks for taking part. Press subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.